Hello and welcome back to a new video, Laurel Hardy memorabilia and Charlie Chaplin collectibles. In this video I've got a few little bits and pieces to show and also talk about two books that I just finished reading. So starting off with these three cards that I have. This one here is from Bonnie, Scotland, and this is more like a photographic trade card. There is a bit of information on the back there and it's stamped on the back, but I can't actually read that too well. So it's a nice little old card there, which I'm guessing is obviously 1930s. And then these two cards, which are cigarette cards, and I'm guessing these are mid-20s or early 1930s. I think these are around the same time or the same series, but this one is the famous stack shot of Laurel Hardy headshots there, and also this one is a pretty different picture of Laurel Hardy. I've not actually seen this photo shot of Laurel Hardy before, so it's nice to get a hold of this card. And in general, the Laurel Hardy cigarette vintage trade cards, chocolate cards, are very hard to get hold of now, so it was nice to add these two to the cigarette card collection. And then on to Charlie Chaplin, I have this, which is a very small pendant on Charlie Chaplin. You can just see there his headshot and with his name, Charlie Chaplin. That's a nice little copper old pendant. Again, I'm not too sure on the age exactly of this, but nevertheless it's still a nice little addition to have towards the Chaplin collection. And then I have this one, which is more of a token or coin of Charlie Chaplin, and this item is really exciting. And basically you've got on the front his name, Charlie Chaplin, in the gold rush, with an image of Charlie Chaplin's headshot, shoulder shots there. His nose is slightly worn down there, obviously over time, just worn down with age, and unfortunately it has been drilled through the top here to be used as a necklace form of a pendant or what have you, but nevertheless it adds to its character and the authenticity of the item. And then just on the back it's got Prince Cinema, Wigan, commencing February the 8th, 1926, for 2 weeks only. So a really nice bit of information there on the back. So this was the time of the film that he made, The Gold Rush, and this token or coin was to promote the film. So there would have been loads of these coins, and what happened was they were thrown into the streets to promote the film, and which the public scrambled to claim or get hold of. And you can just imagine back in the day this happening, especially with poor people or even homeless people that didn't have a lot of money, and especially to small children this would have meant an awful lot to them, and they would have cherished this token with Charlie Chaplin. So it's a really nice bit of history that was a way of advertising, in a way to attempt to alert the public of the release of the picture. So there it is, a nice bit of vintage original Charlie Chaplin memorabilia. And then from that I have this program, which is a movie house, picture house theatre program, very early, very old program, and this is Manchester's unusual, most popular picture theatre, the Peter Street Picture House, futurist, the house that is different. And what's interesting with this one, if I open this up, you have 2-page information there, and then on the first page you've got our pictures, Monday, October 3rd, 1921, during this week. And the one that stands out, which caught my eye, you've got Charles Chaplin the Kid. So really, really exciting and fun bit of old memorabilia on Charlie Chaplin. And there's a whole list of all the other showings of films that were on during that week. And then on this side you've got a list of all the different music for the orchestra. And then what I found interesting, on the back of this you've got the famous Futurist Orchestra will be pleased to play any piece of music by request. Suggestions should be handed in to the manager containing address and will be played the following week. The sender will be advised on which evening they will be performed. So that was really interesting to read that as a customer to watch these old films. You can request what music that would like to be played in the theatre. So there it is. That's a really nice piece of old paper, vintage, genuine item there, showing Charles Chaplin the Kid, which was 1921. And then these two books, which I'm happy to say, my autobiography, Charles Chaplin, which I've actually got around to finishing reading this whole book, which is fascinating and really, really interesting read, from his struggles from his childhood through to his success in America, and then eventually moving away to Switzerland. And really, really fascinating, interesting life story on Charlie Chaplin. So I'm pleased, first time I actually got around to reading the whole book properly. So that's one good book read there. And then you've got this one, which is The Making of Stan Laurel, Echoes of a British Boyhood, which is by Danny Lawrence, which is a really another great book on Stan Laurel's early life, as he was born into a theatrical family, and then when he moved away from Ulverston and he moved around the north of England. And it speaks a lot of his time in North Shields, which was his most happiest times, and he says that he feels that he belongs in North Shields, and they was his happiest memories. And there is a photo, of course, when he visited there in 1932, and also later on when he toured, and also went there with Ollie. So you've got a nice photo there where he stood outside his old home. That's a really cheerful shot there, and you can see how happy everybody is to meet him, and stand just in the centre there giving his famous Stan Laurel grin. But it does say here that this home was to house just his family, but now it's occupied up to 6 separate households. So it just goes to show what happened during the times, how it changed over the years. And then just further back through the book, it also says a lot related to the Laurel and Hardy films, where Stan Laurel's boyhood was connected from those times. And for example, the music box steps, there was a lot of steep steps in North Shields, so there was several steep steps that would have led from the dockyards up to his home. And that's where the idea came from for the music box. For other examples, you've got sailors, and then all the dockyards and fishermen. So again, there's a lot of that connected in the Laurel and Hardy films. And there is a story where he was in his Sunday best, and he's walking through the main high street, and he gets hit by a soot bomb, which is obviously from the chimneys, which would have literally covered him in all this soot. And again, that was inspiration for later Laurel and Hardy films. And there was also another story where he fell in a barrel of fish guts, which is pretty grim. But again, it's all connected to the Laurel and Hardy characters that stayed with him, and then he brought it through into the films of both Laurel and Hardy. But it's a great read, really, really great book. and just fascinating where he got all his connections from that came through into later years. I just love that shot there from a chump at Oxford, and also these collars, which are the big collars they wore, which are the collars there, which is also what Stan wore during his childhood years, which he absolutely hated wearing, and that they were very uncomfortable at the time. So he obviously got the idea again for Laurel and Hardy films and used those collars. Also in Bratz as well, I think he's wearing one of those. So yeah, so it's a great book. So if you have this book, or if you don't have it, then I definitely recommend it for the early years of Stan Laurel in the north of England, in North Shields. So a great read. So that's it for this video. But my highlight for this video is definitely this Charlie Chaplin, which is the coin or token that was promoted for the gold rush. So a really nice old vintage piece of Charlie Chaplin history there. So that's it for this video, and thanks for watching, and keep collecting. Thanks very much.